Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, April 7th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. First up, posted our big monthly Google Webmaster Report where we cover pretty much everything that I think that is important that happened over the past month in regards to Google and Webmaster related focus. Obviously, Fred was one of the top things there, which I believe targeted low value content and so forth. There were some other things that happened over the past month, including Google demoting offensive, insulting, and hateful content. Google promising or telling us that machines will not take over the algorithm, and Google said that they can't deny any algorithm updates because it'll go ahead and bite them in the past. It'll go ahead and bite them later on. Google did call out one link seller. They mocked PBNs. And there was the Google Dance. But if you want to definitely take a look at the past month's recap, there's a lot there, and it will catch you up pretty quickly in terms of what happened in the past month and related to Google Webmaster SEO-related topics. Talking about Google, Google has updated their algorithm possibly. Again, there was possibly a small algorithm update on April 4th. I do not think this was a big update, but there was definitely some chatter in the SEO community. The tools definitely showed a lot of updates there as well. So some people are definitely reporting these updates, but if you take a look at the tools, there's definitely some spikes in the tools showing that there was some type of update. And there definitely is chatter, but I don't believe this is anywhere near the Fred levels or Penguin levels or Panda levels that we've seen in the past. So Google did not confirm, did not deny, they just didn't do anything in regards to this update, but I don't think I'm going to push them too much on that. Similar to a March 30th update, a lot of tools lit up saying there was an update, but there's very, very, very little SEO chatter in the SEO communities around this. I don't believe there was a specific update. I think this may have been related to a UI change in terms of where content showed, and maybe that's why these tools flipped out. Of course, with any day, everything's always happening. So there definitely are some SEOs and webmasters that saw changes on March 30th, but at the whole, I do not think there was any major algorithm update on the 30th. There may have been a small one on the 4th. Nothing at the levels of Fred or Penguin or Panda. Big news this week, I believe, is that Google basically said at this was at the Next 10 conference in Boston. Gary from Google said that the mobile first index likely will not launch in 2017. The goal was for it to launch in this year. I think the goal initially was for it to launch in the Q1 of this year. That's definitely not going to happen. It didn't happen. But Google thinks it might go ahead and launch in 2018, and it looks like they're trying to hit the 2017 end of the year mark, but it probably won't happen in this year. It probably will happen next year. Gary from Google confirmed suspicions that many SEOs and webmasters had that around the same time that the Fred update was released, which was on March 7th or 8th, that there was other algorithm updates that were released at the same time. I believe that to be true. Definitely saw sites that were hit around the same time as Fred. I think Fred was released on the 8th, and these link algorithm was released on the 7th, if you had to be specific. And Google said that there are definitely other updates that happened around the same time. There's always updates that are happening, yada, yada, yada. But this really confirms like the 90% of sites that I saw that were hit up by Fred, there was definitely like 10% of sites that were not hit by Fred because they didn't have the signs of a Fred type of quality, low quality content aspect, and it was probably more link related. Talking about that, Google's John Mueller said that explain why Google doesn't disclose most of the Google updates and algorithm changes. He said, because we're doing updates all the time. He said, I'm not going to go ahead and say, oh, there was an update yesterday, there was 2 updates yesterday, 3 updates the day before, 1 update today. It's just confusing. And he says, from their point of view, from Google's point of view, it's not that useful. He did go on to explain that some updates, like the mobile-friendly algorithm update and stuff like that, Google does disclose because that gives webmasters specific guides on saying, go ahead and make your website mobile-friendly because we have an algorithm update coming and you have X months to do so. And that's not only useful for Google, it's also useful for your users because he said about 50% of your users or more are probably accessing your website on mobile devices, and that's a good experience for them. So definitely take a look at that. Google launched early this morning, fact-checking snippets. So we discussed this in October, where Google had in the news results for the U.S., a little fact check label. And as you can see, it says fact check by PolitiFact. It says mostly true. You can see over here, it says fact check by Snoops, false. And you can see Google's actually labeling search results with fact check. The way you do this is you use markup. Google has to determine your site as authoritative. If you abuse this markup, Google will go ahead and remove your ability to use this schema. But it's now available in the Google search results, the news box results related stuff, as well as in the Google News results worldwide. It's not just US and it's not just Google News, and there is a schema you can use. So definitely take a look at that. That was launched this morning. Ashley Madison, the website that helps with, I guess, adultery, may have been penalized by Google. It's not ranking for its own name. People don't know why. If you do a search for Ashley Madison, you don't get the Ashley Madison website. You get Ashley Madison's website doesn't come up in the top 10 results. Let's take a quick look now. People are wondering why. Maybe it was penalized back in November. This started happening. And you can see it's not really ranking that well. There is a affiliate site that ranks above, Ashley RN. Looks like an R. You see the RN. It looks like an M. Madison. But the actual website itself doesn't rank well. The question is why. And SEOs are kind of curious. It probably has a penalty or something. Of course, Ashley Madison went through a lot of controversy being hacked, and different types of celebrities were found to be in that database and so forth. Google says you should use the disavow file when you're threatened with negative SEO. So this happens a lot. Negative SEO. People have been threatened, mass extortion in SEO worlds and so forth. Past SEOs for consultants have been threatened people. And Google says use the disavow file if you're threatened. Of course, it doesn't solve all the issues, but that's what it's there for. Google said they won't go ahead and label disavow links in this Google Search Console report, link report. They said it's just they don't want to go ahead and label those results because it's not that useful, he said. John Mueller said this. He should have said it because it could then be backward engineered for spammers to use, but he said they don't want to because they want people just to get an aggregate level of their links and not necessarily a finite level, a detailed level where it shows disavow links, no follow links, and so forth, versus regular links. I think it would be useful, but I'm not Google. Gary from Google said what Google has said time and time again, and it's still an issue, that Google doesn't have enough content in specific languages like, I believe, Arabic and Hebrew and Chinese and different non-English based languages for many, many head queries, like short queries. Google needs more content because it can't rank, it doesn't have enough content to rank very well. So if you are multilingual and you are a good writer and you do write good quality content in English, definitely bring that content to other languages because that would be useful for Google and hopefully useful for your website for ranking. Google is testing URLs at the top of the mobile search results. So we covered something similar last week where they had the breadcrumb trails, but now they're testing the actual URL above the snippets, as you can see here. And last week we covered the breadcrumb above the snippets, above the URL titles and the snippets. Google Posts is basically, Google Posts now show in other categories, specifically in museums, menus, musicians, and sports groups. So here's an example of the Mets knowledge graph and baseball team. You can see this is Google Posts, where they actually post live updates directly into Google's box right here. And this is actually an animated GIF. You can't see because it's a static image, but you can post different things, and Google lets you do that. And those are called Google Posts, and those are now available to more categories. Google is testing knowledge graphs without maps, so local knowledge graphs without the maps, just information without the maps, which is interesting. Google local results may actually be tailored to show specific database in your query. So if you search for company name hours, it will show you the hours. If you search for the address, it will show you the address. If you search for reviews, it will show you reviews, and so forth. You get the idea. So that's pretty useful. And finally, Google now has a new Google Partners program. So it's not just AdWords and Analytics and AdSense and so forth. It is also, you could be a Google partner in mobile site certification. So if you're a good mobile site developer, read up on the test, take it, and you can actually go ahead and do well and get a certified partner badge for being a mobile site developer, which is pretty cool. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. Thanks for those who are watching live. Everyone have a great weekend. Today, again, is Friday, April 7th, and that's the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable in the past week. Just a heads up for those who are celebrating Passover. I will be offline starting Monday night through Wednesday night. I hope to have posts scheduled on Tuesday and Wednesday automatic. I will not be writing them on real time. I will be offline those 2 days. And I hope everyone have a great weekend and a great Passover, and everyone have a great time. Speak to you guys later. Be well. Bye.